Two people can earn the exact same salary and still live like they are in completely different financial worlds. Same $75,000 income, same city, similar age. One has money left after payday, invests every month, can take a trip without putting the whole thing on a credit card, and could handle a bad week without immediately panicking. The other makes the same amount, works just as hard, and somehow feels like every paycheck arrives already exhausted. That difference is easy to misunderstand. You look at the first person and assume they must have family money. You look at the second and assume they must be terrible with money. Sometimes neither is true, because your salary tells you how much money enters your life. It does not tell you how much of that money you actually control. Imagine two co-workers, Alex and Jordan, both earn $75,000 a year after taxes, insurance, and deductions. Imagine they each bring home roughly the same amount every month. On paper, they are financial equals, but Alex pays $1,450 in rent. Jordan pays $2,250. Alex drives an older paid-off car. Jordan has a $720 car payment. Alex carries no credit card balance. Jordan sends $350 a month toward debt. Before either person buys groceries, eats out, shops online, or thinks about investing, their financial lives are already separating, and that leads to the first money rule. Your salary matters less than how much of it is already claimed. A paycheck can look impressive and still give you very little freedom if too many past decisions already have a reservation on it. Rent gets a piece, the car gets a piece, debt gets a piece, insurance gets a piece, childcare might get a piece, family may need a piece. By the time the money actually feels like yours, there may not be much left. That is how two people can both say, I make $75,000, while one has $1,500 of monthly breathing room and the other has $200. They earn the same income. They do not have the same financial life. Housing is usually where the difference gets big fast. Jordan did not rent some ridiculous penthouse. He chose a nicer apartment closer to work, better building, more space, safer parking. And technically, he can afford it. But I can afford the payment often just means I can make the payment. Those are not the same thing. A payment can fit while still squeezing out everything that would make the rest of your life easier. That extra $800 in rent could have become an emergency fund, debt payoff, investments, or simply room to breathe. This is why one of the most useful money rules is never build a lifestyle that requires everything to go right. That idea shows up in books like The Psychology of Money as leaving room for error. In normal life, it means you do not build a month so tight that one surprise expense destroys the entire plan. Because something eventually goes wrong. The rent increases, the car needs repairs, hours get cut, a family member needs help, a medical bill appears. The apartment is affordable right up until real life joins the budget. Cars create the same problem. Alex's car is older. It is not impressive. Jordan's is newer, quieter, and much nicer to drive. Again, Jordan is not making some obviously reckless decision. The payment fits, but the car payment is rarely just the car payment. There is higher insurance, registration, maintenance, possibly more expensive tires. And then something psychological happens. The nicer car can make the older apartment feel worse. The nicer apartment can make the old furniture look cheap. The better job can make the old wardrobe feel outdated. One upgrade starts negotiating for the next one. That is how lifestyle inflation really happens. Not with one giant shopping spree. Your definition of normal slowly becomes more expensive. And normal is dangerous because eventually you stop noticing it. The new apartment feels exciting for a few weeks, then it is just home. The new car feels special for a few months, then it is just the car, but the payment stays. The lifestyle upgrade becomes normal faster than the payment disappears. Then debt widens the gap even more. Alex's current paycheck mostly pays for Alex's current life. Jordan's current paycheck is also paying for older versions of Jordan. The vacation from last summer, the furniture purchase, the emergency that went on a card, the month when spending got away from him. Debt lets the past reach forward and take money from the present. So Jordan can earn exactly as much as Alex today while controlling less of today's income. And that is why a decent salary can still feel strangely weak. Sometimes the money is not missing, it is already assigned. But this comparison only works if we keep it real. Not every difference comes from lifestyle choices. Maybe Jordan sends $400 every month to help his mother. Maybe he has a child. Maybe he pays more for healthcare. Maybe Alex has a partner splitting housing costs while Jordan lives alone. Those things matter. Financial outcomes are not a perfect scoreboard of who was more disciplined. Two people can earn the same amount and have completely different responsibilities. That is exactly why salary comparisons are so misleading. You see someone's job title, you see their car, you hear roughly what they make, and your brain fills in the rest. They make what I make. Why are they doing so much better? You may be comparing your entire financial reality to one number from theirs. And this is where small spending finally enters the picture. People love arguing about coffee, restaurants, subscriptions, and little purchases because they are visible. You can point to them. You can cut them tomorrow. But if most of your paycheck is already being swallowed by housing, transportation, debt, and obligations, saving $8 at lunch is not going to fix the structure. You can be disciplined with small money and still be trapped by big money. Alex might actually spend more than Jordan on travel. Maybe he loves concerts. Maybe he spends freely on one or two things he genuinely values. The difference is that his major fixed costs leave room for it. Jordan might be the one using coupons. He might cook more. He might compare grocery prices. He might feel guilty ordering takeout. But he is trying to save $20 inside a month that was already hundreds of dollars tighter before breakfast. That is why the strongest financial decisions often look boring. Housing, transportation, debt. How many permanent payments you allow into your life. Whether every raise immediately creates another monthly bill. Those choices determine how hard the rest of the month has to be. Then Alex and Jordan separate again through their systems. Alex gets paid on Friday. Before he starts spending, $300 moves automatically into savings. Another amount goes into investments. The money is gone before he gets used to seeing it. Jordan also wants to save $300. He is serious about it, but he plans to save whatever is left at the end of the month. That sounds similar. It is not. Alex made one decision. Jordan has to keep making the same decision while life competes for the money. A birthday comes up. The electric bill is higher. A friend invites him out. His car needs something. By the end of the month, the planned $300 becomes $60. Then he tries again next month. This is why the old pay yourself first principle still works. Money left sitting in your spending account has to survive your entire life before it gets saved. A better system gives important money a job before the month gets a vote. Good financial systems reduce the number of times you need to behave perfectly. Alex may not have more discipline. He may simply have fewer important decisions left open. And over time, that small difference becomes much bigger. At first, maybe Alex is only saving and investing a few $100s more each month. That does not look dramatic. Jordan still has the nicer car. Jordan's apartment photographs better. Jordan may even look more successful. But 5 years later, the gap is no longer just a few $100s. Alex has cash reserves, investments, maybe a growing retirement account, less anxiety around emergencies, more ability to leave a bad job, more ability to move, more ability to take a risk. Jordan may have earned the same amount for those 5 years and still need next month's paycheck to keep everything moving. This is where looking successful and becoming financially stronger split apart. The Millionaire Next Door became popular partly because of this idea. Wealth is often quieter than people expect. You can see the car. You cannot see the emergency fund. You can see the vacation. You cannot see the retirement account. You can see the apartment. You cannot see the debt that was avoided. Appearance is visible. Margin is invisible. And social comparison pulls people toward what can be seen. If everyone around you upgrades, staying where you are can start feeling like failure. That is one of the hardest parts of earning more money. A raise can increase your financial power, or it can increase the cost of the lifestyle you feel expected to maintain. Jordan gets promoted and thinks, I finally make enough to live a little better. Alex gets the same promotion and thinks, I finally have more room. Those two thoughts can create very different futures. The lesson is not that spending is bad. The lesson is that every permanent lifestyle upgrade becomes a recurring claim on future income. A dinner costs you once. Higher rent comes back every month. A vacation ends. A car loan keeps returning. Fixed costs matter because they turn decisions into commitments, and commitments reduce flexibility. You see that most clearly when something goes wrong. Imagine both Alex and Jordan get hit with a $1,200 car repair. Alex hates it, but he transfers money from savings, pays the bill, and starts rebuilding. Jordan does not have $1,200 available, so the repair goes on a credit card. Now the same emergency creates another problem. The repair is over, the payment is not. Next month's income becomes even more claimed than this month's. That is how financial pressure compounds, not only through bad decisions, through a lack of room. And room is one of the most underrated forms of wealth. Room to survive a bad month, room to help someone, room to invest, room to leave a bad job, room to make a mistake without turning it into debt. So if you want to know why someone earning the same amount seems to live a completely different financial life, stop comparing salaries first. Compare how much income is committed before the month begins. Compare the major fixed costs. Compare how much old debt is still taking money from today. Compare the obligations you cannot see. Compare whether saving happens first or only if something survives. And compare what happens when income rises. Does every raise immediately create a more expensive life? Or does part of that raise create more distance between you and financial pressure? A practical way to use this is simple. First, separate your fixed commitments from your flexible spending. You need to know how much of your income is already gone before you make a single daily choice. Second, look hardest at the biggest numbers. Housing, transportation, debt, and recurring obligations can matter far more than small purchases. Third, create automatic margin. Even if the amount starts small, move money towards savings or investments before the month starts negotiating with it. And fourth, when your income rises, do not upgrade everything at once. Choose what genuinely improves your life. Then let some of the increase improve your financial position too. Because the goal is not to become the person who spends the least. The goal is to become the person whose income creates more options every year. Two people can earn the same salary for 10 years. One can end up with stronger investments, lower stress, more flexibility, and the ability to make choices without immediately checking the next payday. The other can earn just as much and still feel trapped. The difference is rarely the salary alone. It is what the salary is required to carry. Every fixed payment is a piece of future income that already has an owner. Every dollar of margin is a piece you still control. And eventually, those pieces of margin become something much bigger than savings. They become freedom. So the next time you compare your income to someone else's, do not ask, how are they doing so much better on the same money? Ask a better question. How much of their income is actually free to build their future? Because earning the same amount does not mean living the same financial life. What matters is how much survives, where it goes, and what it quietly becomes. If this made you look at money differently, subscribe, because this channel breaks down the hidden money patterns that decide who stays stuck, who becomes stable, and who quietly builds wealth.